Aaron Cantu, FightHype.com, here with Chris Algieri, the former champion. Chris, we just saw the Teofimo Lopez fight against Steve Claggett. Goes to a 12-round decision to Teofimo. What's your immediate reaction to this fight?
Listen, Claggett brought a lot of will. He was in great shape. Showed a tremendous beard. Took really good body shots. Teofimo impressed me with his output. You know, he obviously came conditioned. He knew what he had in front of him. I did too. I actually predicted a decision. I know a lot of people were predicting a knockout. I think it would have been really important for him to make a statement to get that knockout. But it wasn't for not trying, that's for sure. Claggett put on a tough performance, but you know, it was not an effective performance. You know, he was imposing his will, but not being effective.
Not in a sense where he can take the title from the champion. You were really high on Teofimo coming into this fight. How would you rate his performance, and you know, where do you see him going in this 140-pound division?
Well, he's talking about going to 147, which I don't really advise. You know, he hasn't shown that same power that he had at 35 at 140. So, you know, he's 5-0 now at 140. He's only got one KO, and that was against Pedro Campa early on. And even that, like, it was more of an attrition than a single shot. So I think he has the opportunity to unify. I favor him against all the other champions in the weight class. So I think it would be a good idea for him to go collect some belts. He said at the end, belts are important. So it would make sense to go and collect those belts.
Were you surprised at Steve Claggett's durability in this fight?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, his chin was great, and really he wasn't showing much wear or tear either until those later rounds. The nose started to bleed. He got rocked a few times. I think he got hurt more often than we were able to see because he hit it well. But he did hit it well. He's got a lot of experience. 45. This is 46 pro fight, 35 years old. Tough guy.
Do you think Teofimo, you know, given that he does want to move up to 47, maybe has to not change his style, but be more of a guy that is on his toes, boxing a little bit more, you know, given that he's going to fight bigger guys that are more durable?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only are the guys going to be bigger, but he's going to have to go 12 rounds every time. And you don't want those big guys thumping on you. You know, you got a guy at 47 who does what Steve Claggett does. It's going to be a very, very difficult night for Teofimo Lopez. But we saw that he has conditioning. He threw almost 1,000 punches tonight, career high in terms of punches thrown, punches landed. So, you know, that other style could potentially be there, and he showed that he does have the conditioning, even though he's still an explosive guy.
A couple more things, and I'll let you go, Chris. I see you on Pro Box, and you guys are chopping it up on all various topics, but I just wanted to get your take on the 1-year suspension handed down to Ryan Garcia for testing positive for PEDs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, boxing is doing its job. I expected a shorter suspension, actually. You know, but I mean, they banned him for a year, hit him with a big fine. I don't know if Ryan really cares or not. You know, he probably wasn't going to fight this year anyway. You know, that's why I said 6 months. Who cares? He's not going to fight. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if when he comes back, what weight class he'll be in. But a year's a long time.
Chris, what needs to happen for this performance-enhancing drug issue in boxing that kind of, you know,
man.
I mean, there needs to be some type of legislation, right? Like in Congress, something needs to be brought up because there's no oversight.
Yeah, well, there's no oversight in boxing at all. Nothing has any teeth either. There's no governing body. There's no one to oversee everything. And when someone does break the rules, it's a multi-tiered system in terms of how it's punished. And that's an issue, you know. So until we have a unified governing body that looks over everything and actually has some teeth to punish the offenders, it's never going to change.
Last thing, fight that just got announced: Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois. What do you think about that fight? It's a good matchup. Break down that fight.
I mean, it's a huge fight for the UK. Dubois has really turned it around, man. His last two fight performances are really impressive to me. Jarrell Miller, I saw, wow, this guy could really punch with both hands. That was really impressive. And then his fight with Ergovic, who I held very highly. He had to go through fire early on and basically out-bullied the bully. You know, Dubois is the kind of guy who tends to get bullied. Jarrell Miller talked a lot of trash about him. Ergovic was during fight week as well. You know, took a lot of flack early on in that fight, and then just sustained and weathered the storm and was able to break Ergovic down the stretch. So I think Dubois has turned a corner. Not only is he a physical phenom, but now he's starting to get that mental too. So listen, Joshua, who's been shown to be vulnerable at times, this is a pretty good fight.
You would lean toward Dubois in that fight?
No,
sounds like.
I wouldn't. No.
You still give Joshua the edge?
Yeah, I'm a huge Joshua fan. I think he's the biggest puncher in the division, biggest one-punch puncher in the division. Now that, you know, Wilder, I don't think we're going to see him at top level anymore. Joshua is a phenomenal athlete. You know, he's got the pedigree from the amateur background, but you know, he is vulnerable at times, which that can make him exciting as well.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
Thanks for the time, man.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Appreciate it.